Good evening, wonderful humans. Welcome back to the Saints Network podcast, sort of.
We're still talking about Saints.
We're still talking about Saints. We will be covering Saints news, but we are also talking about the 2026 World Cup hosted in US, Canada and Mexico, I think it is. We said we would cover the World Cup this season, this summer, sorry. We are, in fact, going to cover the World Cup this summer, and this is what we're here to talk about. Obviously, England played their opening game in Group L.
Yes, well done.
Yeah, they played the opening game in Group L on Wednesday. I have watched that game. I will confess at the moment it's the only minutes of World Cup football I've officially watched properly, apart from things you see on social media so far. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about other notable World Cup moments so far, because Ash has been watching a ton of it, an absolute ton of it, including performances from Saints players. We'll also talk about Saints news, because there is some Saints news to talk about, but we'll do that later on in the show. If you're here for the World Cup, we're going to cover that off first. It's a strong possibility, a very strong possibility, that if you write "it's coming home" in chat, I might ban you.
However, if you super chat,
I still might ban you. I'll be honest. I'll be honest. It might be a ban. Might be a ban.
I disagree. Do it, guys. Go for it. Josh has already
Ash
started.
has asked me the question. Ash asked me the question. What question did you ask me? Do you remember?
Can I borrow 20 quid?
No, not that one. The answer's still no.
No, I can't remember.
What stage in the tournament?
Oh, what stage did we say it's coming home? And you said when we won the final.
He said to me, what stage in the tournament is it actually allowed to say it's coming home? I said, well, when we fucking won the final. That's the only time it's acceptable. Because any other time, there's a strong possibility England just lets us down.
Yeah, but what did I respond to you when you said that?
I don't remember.
I said, well, we ain't going to get there. That's what
So we don't get to say it, then, do we? That fucking song was made 30 years ago to commiserate the fact that it was 30 years since we won a fucking World Cup. So I'm not having it. I'm not listening to it. There's a strong possibility you can sing Vindaloo to your hearts out, right? I don't care. But anyway, that's that one. Talking about that fucking stupid phrase. If you would like to support the channel, there's multiple ways you can do that for us. First of all, you can do all the free stuff. If you can hit that like button, if you enjoy the content, I'll ban you.
Okay.
You can hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and you can hit that button notification icon if you want to be notified when we go live in the future for all future football-based shows. Caveat, if you're here to talk about England, we will do that over the summer, but we are in fact a Saints podcast. The name kind of gives it away. So when the new championship season starts up and the World Cup's finished, it will be Saints focused. If you're here for just the World Cup, amazing, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We will eventually go back to Saints Talk, and there will be Saints Talk on most episodes as well. So this last Wednesday, England... Oh, also, there's other ways you can support us, of course. I can see people in chat who don't have green names. Shame on you. I haven't got a bell, and I can't make you walk down the street naked, but I would if I could. You could and should become members of the Saints Network podcast. It doesn't cost loads of money. It supports us financially. It's going to help, hopefully, Ash and I renew our season tickets for the new season. Can't do it yet. We'll see how many members we get. If you have already got membership, you can also gift memberships, which is amazing. It gives people the opportunity to get into the Discord, into the members areas, and engage in those areas and hopefully enjoy them and then maybe want to stick around. Or you can do things like postcards and super chats, like the one we have already had from Mr. Josh Blackmore, who says, I'm not reading now, actually. Fuck it. I don't care if you pay £2. Not at them.
Legend, Josh.
But thank you for the £2, Josh. Yeah, thank you for the £2. I love you for the £2. The phrase is nonsense. Absolute nonsense, right? Are we talking season tickets? We will be eventually. We will be covering Saints news. So if I look at my show notes, which Ashley has lovingly prepared for us, talk England game, talk about Scotland game, talk about Kyle, talk about other bits.
Just doing the show on your own.
A list of stuff, then Saints news, including season tickets. So we will get there. If you want Saints stuff, hang around for a little bit. So England played their first game, like we said, on Wednesday in Texas, against Croatia. And the lineup surprised me slightly, if I'm honest. Did it surprise you?
No, because it was leaked like the day before.
Yeah, but it still surprised me, though, slightly. I genuinely believed that Gay would start. I didn't think Stones and what's his face would get the...
Ezri Konsa.
Thank you. Konsa would get the hat tip. I actually also thought Morgan Rogers would start with Jude Bellingham, if I'm honest, because Morgan Rogers seems to have been in favour under Tuchel.
So Thomas Tuchel, whatever you want to call him, has had an issue with Jude Bellingham since he's taken over, and I think there's a bit of an ego clash there, to be fair.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
However, it's Jude Bellingham.
Yeah, he's a game changer.
He turns up on the big stage.
I think he's incredible.
And
It was just a surprise. Like, I would pick Bellingham, but it surprised me because Morgan Rogers has been unfavour with Tuchel. He's played more minutes, a lot more minutes under Tuchel than Bellingham has. He's obviously had a storming season for Aston Villa, who've gone and won the UEFA Cup as well. So they've had
Europa League, get it right, mate.
Same fucking difference. So they've done incredibly well as well, and he's had a great season. So I just kind of was surprised to see him in there. I think for me, there was actually a fair amount of surprises going on in the midfield. I actually thought we'd see Rashford start, if I'm honest.
I was very surprised that he went with Madueke and Gordon. I think I kind of understood why to a degree.
I was surprised at both of those as well. And I can only think that it's because it gives him the opportunity to have impact players on later in the game.
Yes, however, I was also very surprised that we didn't see Eze start and we saw Madueke start in front of Eze, which I thought was a bit odd. But it's worth remembering, obviously, before the game, we got the news that Tino Livramento had a muscle injury, so he's been ruled out of the tournament. So obviously it's a right back gone, and he's called up Trevor Chalobah of Chelsea to replace him. And that's obviously people were calling for
James Bree.
Yeah, James Bree. People are calling for Luke Shaw or Lewis Hall of Newcastle, but obviously he's gone for Chalobah, who's been called up. So I think the lineup was kind of similar as to what I was expecting. I think Madueke out of the wing was a bit of a different one. I think that Anthony Gordon was obviously fresh off the move to his new move to Barcelona. I thought he was
average.
I thought he was dog shit. I thought he was an interesting choice.
I don't know if I thought he was dog shit.
He didn't do anything.
I don't know. I don't know if I thought he was dog shit. He didn't do a lot, but you can do a lot. You can do a lot in a football match whilst being off the ball as well.
No, 100% you can. Josh, I see your question. Which of the two of us got spoiled more? Newsflash: we've both been working all day.
Did you get a Father's Day meal cooked for you?
I got roast dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, I've just had a microwave sweet and sour chicken because I've been in all day.
Okay. I mean, you could treat us by just gifting memberships. But definitely me. So no, look, the lineup was a lineup. But obviously, what we have to remember, and this is the point that we're going in against a Croatian side who are full of effectively OAPs now.
Yeah, and this is the thing. I think people have. I think a lot of people. So, spoiler alert, you probably already know if you're watching this show. England won 4-2. We'll go over the game a bit in a minute, but I think people have put a lot of. So, actually, let's go over the game first before I make the point I want to make. We obviously took a sort of early lead with a penalty that was it a definite penalty for you?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, maybe not. I don't think so. And then I saw the replay. I was like, I don't think they can't give that. I think it's weak, but I think it's a bit. Weak as a penalty. I think he looked for the penalty. The way he went down, I think he looked for the penalty because if you think about the way he was kicked, where Modric was obviously trying to play the ball. And then the way he goes down, physics doesn't make sense there. Anyway, he gives the penalty. And then what we see is a thing that categorically, FIFA, please ban this bullshit staggered run-up. I hate it. And thankfully Kane saw sense. So he did this shitty, I'm going to try and be fancy staggered run-up, and the keeper saved it. Good. Hopefully keepers keep saving those and players stop fucking doing it. But unfortunately, what the keeper did do was he come off his line. At the same time, some Croatian players impeded the box as well. So they made him retake it. And thankfully, Harry Kane had the sense to go, I'm not doing that again and making myself look fucking stupid. And he just ran up and blasted it. And lo and behold, look, it went straight in. Can we stop that nonsense? It really annoys me. Anyway, so 1-0 lead, Harry Kane, massive surprise, Harry Kane scores. And then we didn't look great.
We looked sloppy, sluggish, lethargic, too compact, clueless.
Do you know what we were doing? We were playing almost rust ball.
We were playing sideways and sideways and sideways and backwards and sideways.
At times, it looked like we're playing sideways and backwards with players that weren't comfortable doing it, which is why I call it rust ball. Because if you're Pep Guardiola dealing with City, you get away with it. And despite the fact that these are all players, because the group of players haven't played together. And this is where I think maybe the warm-up games were a mistake. And if you're going to do warm-up games, you should probably start your starting team so they can get some time together and get used to each other and work out where each other's playing. And there was a couple of occasions where I was shitting myself when the ball was getting played back to Pickford and the way that he was trying to play passes out. He didn't look comfortable at times.
Pickford's not had he didn't have a couple of great warm-up games, to be fair to him. And he's had a bit of a dodgy finish to the season, but he's still England's strongest goalkeeper at the moment. So he was always going to get picked. But yes, obviously we went in luck and we didn't look great, and then we gave the ball away and the Croatians had a break, and it's got cut back to Martin Baturina, who fires one into the top corner. Someone said, is it harsh to say Pickford should have done better for the first goal? Pickford does get a hand to it. If he's stronger with his hand, he does tip it over, but he does hit it fucking hard. He hits it very, very hard, and it goes into the top corner.
Do you think Pickford's England's best keeper?
Who would you say is better?
I don't think there is anyone better.
I
think he is probably England's best keeper.
What he's done for England is probably going to be the reason why he's in. And if you look at the other keepers that are in the squad, we've got Dean Henderson and we've got James Trafford. I think James Trafford is probably the natural successor.
Yeah, I agree.
Potentially, maybe at the next World Cup, but I think Jordan Pickford will stay where he is for now.
I just don't think we have a better keeper at the moment, if I'm honest.
I don't think we have a better keeper at the moment.
And I don't know, that's not me saying he's good. I'm just saying he is definitely good. That's not me saying that he's the best goalkeeper we've ever had in England. I just don't think we've got better right now. And I think sometimes it always makes me if Manuel Neuer had come out and said, "Oh, I think he could have done better there," I'd probably listen to it. When fans are watching go, "Oh, he should have stopped that," I'm like, I didn't realise you were a fucking.
That makes you feel any better. Oliver Kahn said he should have done better
on that's
German
fine.
TV.
That makes me feel better. That's what I listen to. But when fans are going, "Oh, you should have done better there," I'm sorry, fat lad on your fucking armchair. I didn't realise you'd be able to leap like a salmon across the goal and push it over the bar.
I feel attacked personally. Anyway, so they obviously equalised, and we thought, oh shit, here we go. And then 5 minutes later, England get a corner. I think this is going to be a trend of things to come as we go deep. If we go deeper into the tournament, that you will see us relying on set pieces, because Declan Rice is one of the best set piece takers in the world.
Yeah.
So he takes corner. Obviously, Harry Kane unmarked. I mean, how do you leave Harry Kane unmarked in the 18-yard box?
He wasn't even unmarked in the 18-yard box, mate. He basically came from outside the 18-yard box. He almost. It looks almost like he walked far enough away to be forgotten about.
Yeah. And
they just come strolling in.
He scores 2-1. Happy days. We're going into half time.
Yeah.
2-1 up.
Solid.
Easy, right?
Easy.
No. A step forwards, England defending. Again. And obviously the ball is chipped forward, and I think it's even Perisic that nods it on, and Musa comes in behind and slots it away. And it's both goals, both the first goal. I think the first one, it was a bit of shit defending from Nico O'Reilly. The second goal, I have absolutely... Harry Kane's the one that's lost the ball because he was too deep, but then I have absolutely no idea what Reece James is doing. Absolutely no idea what he's doing. And obviously we go in at half-time and all of us are going...
Here we fucking go.
And then what really made it weird, and I know they sometimes do it, but I can't remember what his name is now. It's completely gone blank. I've got to write in the show notes. Oh, I'm stopping.
Right, you can carry on now.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I'm glad we did that. I was struggling.
Yeah, I was also struggling in the air-conditioned fucking... Wait, hang on a minute. Weren't they in an air-conditioned stadium?
They were in an air-conditioned stadium, yes. Sorry, we got to wait. What was that? It was 18 minutes past. The next one's got to be about 25 to 9, right?
Well, we went live late, so I didn't do it on quarter past.
Okay, it's fine. That's the end of the... We're now beginning the second quarter, guys. They did it at rugby yesterday as well, by the way.
It's fucking embarrassing.
So they went at half-time, and then he brought out, again, can't remember his name, and one of the England coaches did an interview at half-time. And he said that they weren't happy with how things were going on, etc., and there were going to be some words said. And that Thomas Tuchel stood up and done a bit of a speech to the team, etc. And in the second half, we fucking battered them.
What's interesting is apparently part of what he said in half-time was, if we're going to lose, we at least lose playing our way, not playing their way. Because I think that with Madueke and Gordon, what he was looking to do was put Croatia under early pressure and pin them back. And actually, they kind of did that to us. They pinned us back in the first half.
I disagree.
They had a high press on.
I think he was looking at using Madueke and Gordon to hit them in transition.
Well, they had a high press on.
They did have a high press on. The problem is they're playing 40-year-old Luka Modric in the middle and even Perisic and stuff. And so what happened in the second half
They got fucked.
is they ran out of steam.
Yep.
And it was 2 minutes into the second half, and you could see that we were already playing different. And she kind of tried to explain it when we had the hydration breaks and Emma Hayes came on with a shortboard.
Oh, in the kitchen?
Fucking hell.
What did
God,
it? Did it?
Jesus
Did they not
Christ.
make it look like a kitchen? Did it or did it not look like a kitchen?
I'm not answering
The
that.
second that came on the screen, I was like, oh, they've taken the woman and put her in the kitchen.
I'm
That's
not
fucking
answering that.
controversial.
I'm not answering that.
Did it or did it not look like a kitchen?
This is us getting cancelled right now.
I didn't say it.
You just did. You asked me if it did look like a kitchen.
Yeah, because it did.
Dickhead. I'm not answering it. Anyway, so she explained how it was, but England... I've lost my fucking train of thought now. Jesus Christ. If this is the first time you've ever seen us, we are not normally... We normally are like this. Yes, we are. England's midfielders, especially Bellingham and others, were sitting deeper and were running on. And that's how the goal came. So Bellingham obviously went for a run down the wing. And I don't know... Fucking, who was it? I can't even remember. It was Croatia's number 5. Just kind of stopped. The skip it. He kind of just stopped and Bellingham slots it in. Happy days. And then, like I said, for about 15 minutes, we peppered the goal. We battered it. Declan Rice had one save. The keeper made a triple save.
We could have scored more than 4, actually.
We
quite
could have put
comfortably.
5, 6, 7 past them. And then obviously Marcus Rashford comes on at the end. Good little finishes. Obviously, Croatia trying to press, but didn't really. I think they had one half chance, which Pickford pushed away. And we scored a 4th goal. We've won what you would argue is the harder game in the group. And obviously we play again Tuesday night and next Saturday night.
The thing is, and I've watched England football for years, as have you. I've also been a Saints fan for years, as have you. And what happens with both of those teams? Play the hard teams, what happens? Put in a performance, normally quite an impressive one. You play the shit teams, what happens? You don't put in a performance because you probably think it's a walkover and you have a harder time.
So what we put for the title, convincing.
Was it convincing for you? I've got an answer.
Yes and no.
Okay.
It was at halftime in the halftime show. I don't know why I said that in a non-American
That was
accent.
awful. 100 members and I do the whole next show in an American accent.
Fuck off! Like that's happened. Jesus Christ! Could you imagine? I've lost my train of thought. The first half obviously wasn't. The second half was very good. What's become quite clear at this World Cup, minus a few teams that have performed in certain games,
anything can happen.
Is not going to be a walkover. So we've not had some big. We've had some big wins. Obviously, Germany beat Curacao 7-1 at their first World Cup. We are alive now. I'm assuming everyone's watching Belgium and Iran because there's no one here. But we've come live off the back of the Spanish just putting 4 past Saudi Arabia.
The Netherlands battered Sweden 5-1.
They battered Sweden 5-1, but then Sweden battered Tunisia 4-1. And there's a few things that it's like some teams are really. I've just seen it. I'm ignoring them. Some teams are really struggling to. I don't know whether it's the heat. I don't know whether it's. Stop fucking giggling because I can't keep talking when you're giggling like that. Which one are you laughing at?
Jimmy.
Jimmy's one. Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Jimmy. Prick. I'll see you on Thursday, Jimmy.
It's accurate though. It's accurate.
I can't do that. I'm not doing it anyway.
Brilliant.
There's a lot of teams have struggled. A lot of teams have struggled at this World Cup. And I think that there are teams out there who have... So, Curacao went into the game against Germany and they wanted to play their way and they got battered.
Yeah.
And some teams, and we'll get on to obviously the other results in a minute, some teams...
Mind you, Germany also didn't look strong yesterday, did they? They went 1-0 down originally. And then obviously they did pull it back and I think they won the game in the 94th minute or something.
You have been watching some of it then. 95th minute, but yeah, it's fine. But yeah, no, was it convincing? First half, no. Second half, yes, but it's just one game.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of how I would analyse it as well. The first half wasn't so convincing. We kind of didn't look that dangerous going forward. The only goals we scored were from set pieces. We did, however, prove we could score from a set piece because a penalty is essentially a set piece. It is. But we did score from a set piece, so we proved we could use set pieces. But the defence looked fucking pathetic, I think, in the first half. It didn't look
But the defence has barely played. Half of them have barely played this season.
Do you think the lineup is the right lineup at the back? Do you think Stones and Konza is the right centre-back pairing? Do you think Gage should play?
I don't know. I think it's I'd love Chat's opinion on it. I think it's interesting because he was always going to start Reece James because of the Chelsea connection.
I agree that I actually do think Reece James should start, and I do think that Nico O'Reilly should start. I haven't got a problem with the wing-backs.
Even though Nico O'Reilly's been playing most of the season in centre midfield for Man City.
Who'd you play at left midfield instead?
Left back.
Left back, sorry, instead.
I would have picked Lewis Hall.
Right, and then so do you put Nico O'Reilly in the team?
In the squad.
So you don't put him in the team?
Yeah.
Because that's my problem, right? I know he's been playing him at centre midfield all season at Man City, but then But then who do you drop out of centre
But then
midfield?
there was also some very, and I know we don't want to spend too long talking about this one game, but there was also some very odd substitutions. So he took Declan Rice off and moved Jude Bellingham into Declan Rice
was
position.
carrying an injury.
Yeah, well, he'd hurt his back. But everyone was then saying, well, that's the problem that he's got with the squad. But everyone forgot that he'd picked Kobbie Mainoo.
Declan Rice, I fully believe that he has hurt his back because he was carrying Arsenal all fucking season.
The Iranians have just gone 1-0 up against the Belgians.
Oh,
That's hilarious.
but that game's explosive.
Oh, fucking hell, Liam. Jesus Christ. We might as well just cancel it now, haven't we? Jesus. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for him.
I'm not sorry.
Oh, my God.
Carry on. You were saying...
What I was saying is that, as we were saying, is that first half convincing, second half...
Yeah.
Second half convincing, first half not.
How many teams are you unconvinced by in this World Cup so far? You've seen a lot more of it than I have, to be fair.
How many teams am I unconvinced by?
Because there's some big teams that I think haven't been particularly convincing so far. Like Germany's win yesterday wasn't convincing.
How many teams am I at the moment, having watched every single one of the big teams and everything else? I am not convinced by absolutely anybody.
So it should be an exciting World Cup.
To a degree, the issue that we have is these teams will know they'll adapt quicker. So the Spanish couldn't break down Cape Verde. Fair play to Cape Verde. They got a first ever point in the tournament. There was an amazing story about their goalkeeper who started off with like 20,000 Instagram followers or something and now has like 5 million. But they then obviously have just played the Saudi Arabians and beat them 4-0. Now, obviously, Saudi Arabia, it's like no one cares.
Offside?
It was offside, yeah.
It's not like the Iranians to be somewhere they're not supposed to be. We've also got some of our island cousins playing in the tournament, obviously.
Yes, the Scots.
No Scotland, no party.
No Scotland, no party. So Scotland, obviously, we didn't do a show last week, but Scotland did kick off their campaign with a very, very convincing win over the major international nation, Haiti.
Yep, of course.
They won 1-0 with a deflected John McGinn
Is it Haiti
goal.
or Haiti?
Haiti, I don't fucking care.
Haiti?
That team.
Yeah.
That had the earthquake all those years ago.
Yeah.
And they were second best in possession, they were second best in stats. Cameron's not watching tonight because he'll probably get all defensive. But they weren't convincing. And then I watched them against the Moroccans on Friday night and they were shit.
Ex-Saint Shay Adams is playing, isn't he?
Ex-Saint Shay Adams was starting up front, and any team who have Shay Adams up front and then take him off, and out of Lawrence Shankland, Ross Stewart, and Landon Dykes, between Landon Dykes, deserve to go home.
Yeah.
Because Scotland, the one thing that I found, I don't know what chat think about this from the World Cup, is I found the referees quite refreshing. They're willing to let a lot go.
We will talk about Ross Stewart as well. I've got fucking strong opinions about that prick.
There is clearly, his opinion. They're letting a lot more go in the tournament this year, which is being brilliant so far to a degree. But the Scots kept on getting themselves in good positions, but they just didn't really create anything. They created a couple of chances, but nothing really major. And now they are looking at potentially having to get something against the Brazilians or hope that they can go through as one of the better third-place teams.
Do you think they go through, or do you think they probably go out? Because surely the Brazilians will batter them. Surely the Brazilians will batter them.
If they go through, they're not getting any further than where they go.
Yeah, I agree.
So the thing is, they could lose to Brazil, but still get through as one of the best third-place teams.
Yeah.
So if they do that, that's fine. But whoever they play is going to batter them.
But don't you think Brazil will turn them over? So will they get best third-place team? Probably not at that point.
Would Brazil turn them over?
Well, of course, yeah.
Because
maybe Brazil get a goal or two up and go, well, we've done what we need to do now, let's just sit back.
But Brazil need to win. Because if Brazil don't win, then potentially Morocco will go through as group winners and then Brazil have the harder draw.
Of course.
But then Morocco were also a very, very good team. And they looked very good. They've got Brahim Diaz, who plays for Real Madrid. He's obviously one of the players that they've got up front, and they looked very good. But they also couldn't bury a load of chances. But Scotland had a lot of possession and did fuck all with it. So
talking about things that are related to us being in the World Cup. Obviously, Canadian land, the north part of America, they are also playing in the World Cup.
Yep, co-host
of the World Cup. Kyle Larin, now officially, formally a Saints player, as we covered in the last show, having signed him on a 4-year deal, I think it was. He's been playing for him, hasn't he?
So he didn't start in the first game. I sat there and watched it because obviously it was the opening game. It was not the opening game, but it was the opening game for them at the World Cup. And they played Bosnia, and they were 1-0 down to Bosnia, and they kind of left a couple of their big hitters like Jonathan David and stuff on the bench for the first game. And he came on, and I sat watching. I've fucking seen that comment. It's just not going to stop with you now, is it? I sat watching it at home with George, my boy, and Carl Laren came on, and he said, "What would you do if he scored? Second touch, boom, 1-1." Took a bit of a deflection, cracking goal. Great moment for him.
I'm sorry, right? I love Larin, and I'm hoping he's going to be one of our secret weapons. I think that we haven't yet seen the best of him in a Saints shirt, and I think he had a great end to the season. That's not a cracking goal, that first goal. No one's got any fucking idea where that was going when he first swung his foot at it.
I meant a cracking goal in terms of what it means for Canada.
Right, okay, because that
it's not like it's an amazing strike, is it?
No, that could have hit the corner flag.
So it's gone in. He celebrated, obviously, as you'd have made, and Canada have picked up their first game. Canada picked up the first point they've ever picked up at a World Cup. Then they go and play Qatar.
Fucking
hell. And he scores again. Only a tap in this time, but he scores again, gets an assist, and they beat Qatar 6-0. So Canada, having never picked up a point in the World Cup before, most likely they've got Switzerland in the next game and potentially looking at going through to the knockout stages. In fact, they will do at the moment because they're better. Even if they lose in the next game, they'll be better than one of the best placed, third place.
You've got to think as well, there's got to be a degree of his end to the season has given him, because strikers are confidence players, right?
Yeah, of course they are.
And so the way that he played at Saints and the goals that he was scoring, he must have gone into this World Cup as a confidence player, and he's scoring goals. And I am so fucking glad that we tied him into a contract before this tournament started. Because what the World Cups do, typically, what the European Cups do, they end up with people with eyes on players that they otherwise wouldn't have looked at.
Yeah.
Because you'll see these players that will be like, who the fuck's he? He looks really handy. And you probably wouldn't have spoken about him or thought about him before. And then suddenly the eyes are on him and clubs come sniffing. There's a possibility, that Kyle Laren could be one of those players.
There was a really cheesy comment he made there in one of his interviews where he just like, I only score when Canada needs me. I was like, tell me that when you get knocked out, mate. But no, he has been very impressive in his first couple of games for them. It's good to see because obviously the news that we'll cover later, realistically, Carl Laren is the only Saints player at the World Cup. Theoretically, there's 3. He's the only one that we care about.
So some people have qualified already. You've got US, Mexico, and the Germans.
So the US obviously have kind of started it. So if you speak to the Yanks, apologies for any of those watching, they're convinced they're going to win the World Cup.
Okay. They also thought that voting in Donald Trump was a good idea. So let's not listen to the Yanks.
And the Mexicans have started very well. So at the moment, if we win the group and Mexico carry on doing what they're doing, we're on track for a last 16 meeting with the Mexicans in Azteca, which will be an interesting one. But the Mexicans obviously started well. The Germans obviously won a couple of games, so they've qualified. No one else has actually qualified. I think Turkey and Tunisia have both been eliminated. Tunisia being a very interesting one because they lost 4-1 to Sweden in their first game of the tournament. So obviously they've qualified. They've done all this prep. They spent all this money. They've gone out to the tournament. They've lost 4-1 to Sweden with Victor Gyökeres and Alexander Isak playing up front. Not the most embarrassing thing in the world. And then what they do? They sack the manager. 1 game into the World Cup.
That's a bold move.
So they brought a new manager in, and then they played yesterday, and they lost 4-0 to Japanese.
So they've got slightly worse. Okay, good.
So they haven't sacked him again yet, though.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. So you've then got other notable games and moments. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things I can't really talk about, and then one that I can. So Almiron Red.
FIFA said
Wasn't the first World Cup game of the tournament, or the second one, like 5 red cards?
there's 2, 3. Yeah,
It's like 5.
like 5. But then they're also saying this is going to be the most goals for the ever goal scored at a World Cup tournament. It's like, yeah, because there's more teams, dickhead. You do the maths.
Anyway, Almiron Red, hit me.
Teams were told before the game started that there was this whole idea of covering your mouth when you're talking and doing all this sort of stuff because players do it. And FIFA, who for a long time have made it very clear that they don't really give a shit about racism, because they will find someone more for breaking advertising rules they will do for being racist, has decided that anyone who covers their mouth when they talk will be sent off to avoid players potentially being racist. So players were told about this rule, and they knew about it. And obviously Paraguay were playing a team. Can't remember who it was. I will find out. Paraguay were playing the other night, and obviously Miguel Almiron, who we know, who was previously of Newcastle, they were playing Turkey. Something happens in the middle of the pitch. I wasn't actually watching the game, but he covers his mouth to talk. Turkish player goes, hang on a minute. VAR checks it. Red card.
That's mental.
It's the rules.
It's mental rules.
Kicking us out of the playoffs was mental rules, but it was the rules.
Still mental. Do you not think it's mental? Chat, let me know what you think. I mean, obviously, for me personally, there is absolutely zero place for racism in the game of football. But that doesn't solve the problem, I don't think.
It doesn't solve the problem, no.
So it's a ridiculous rule.
But then they've also said they want to stop goalkeepers going down in the minutes because they want to stop teams going to speak to their coaches and stuff halfway through the second half, but then do a hydration break, which is now being booed every single time.
I'd like to know what you guys think, because I think that is ridiculous as a rule. And players have been doing this for a while now. To be fair, I don't like the hands over the mouth. I understand potentially hiding what you're saying from cameras, especially when it involves tactics, etc. And everyone's digitalised up now, and there's earpieces everywhere. So if you were to see, I get it, I do to a point, but I don't like it. That being said, sending a man off for covering his mouth whilst he talks I've done it before because I'm worried I might spit at you if I'm that close to your face.
I mean, when you're eating your bloody fried chicken at St Mary's, yeah, you do. Jesus
nice,
Christ.
that fried chicken.
It's not nice, that fried chicken.
It's nice.
It's not. The fried chicken I had at Twickenham yesterday was nice.
When you've had 4 pints, it's all right. You've then got Cape Verde have drawn with Spain.
So Cape Verde picked up a draw with Spain, which obviously I mentioned about earlier, which was massive for them. Same as I'm going to apologise here if anyone's from Congo, because in the last show I called them the Dominican Republic of Congo, but it's not. It's a Democratic Republic of Congo. The Dominican Republic is
a whole different country.
So they got a point with Portugal.
In case anyone from Congo's watching, fuck off.
You never know. YouTube is a wonderful thing. They got their first point because they drew the Portuguese, and there's been a whole thing around Ronaldo because obviously Messi's played against Algeria and scored a hat-trick, doing Messi things, although 2 of the goals were gifted to him by the goalkeeper.
Mbappe's played, scored 2.
Mbappe played, scored 2. France were very, very open in the first half, and Senegal looked like a good team. They did what we did. They were poor in the first half, came good in the second half. Curacao got their first ever World Cup point as well, which was obviously massive for them. And then, as I've already mentioned, the Tunisian manager been sacked. Look, the decent thing about this World Cup, apart from the fact that the games on being when they're on, is that there's always something going on. And the decent thing about World Cups, and part of this issue is people were talking about the expanded World Cup, and we understand why it is, and I put it in the last point there, about World Cup commercialism. It's been expanded because they want more teams to be, because they want the tournament to be bigger, and they want more people to turn up and more people to watch, and then they make more money. And I know it necessarily won't mean to some people, I know you probably wouldn't be bothered, but I sat there watching the Cape Verde for the last 20 minutes against the Spanish, praying that they didn't concede, hoping that they held on, hoping they held on. And when they got the point, I was chuffed. Same as the Congo when they did that. Same as Curacao when they did that. Same as Qatar. They got battered 6-0 by the Canadians, but they got their first ever point at the World Cup. Qatar are here because the money that was pumped into the last World Cup has got them here. The Canadians getting their first ever point, and obviously it sounds stupid and it is a bit cheesy, but what this sort of thing does in certain countries, it inspires a generation.
Yeah, it's not cheesy. That's true. It does do that, 100%. And we know what the US are like. We know what America's like. America pumps money into their sports. And there's a strong possibility with this World Cup in America that they're going to continue to pump money into their sports, because they do. They like to pump money into it until they're good at it. And if you've got a whole new younger generation inspired by said World Cup and then pumping money into it, you're going to end up with better American players. You just are. That's something that's going to happen. And it doesn't have to necessarily inspire the young people from the country that is hosting it. Kids who don't watch football might watch the World Cup because it's this big thing and suddenly get into football. People have multiple different routes into sport, and the World Cup is a big one. So you're right. I've got a couple of niggles with this commercialisation of it, and I don't actually have a massive problem with them making money off it, despite the fact that FIFA is supposedly a not-for-profit organisation. if it's getting pumped back into the game. I don't mind that too much, but I've got a couple of issues with it, right? Me personally, I hate this hydration break bollocks. I don't like it at all. That being said, I've also been in Arizona when it's 49 degrees Celsius. So I also know how hot it can get in certain parts of the US.
Fair point.
So I understand, and I don't like it specifically when we have a hydration break inside a stadium that's air conditioned with a roof on to 21 degrees Celsius. I don't think we need it. That being said, the excuse for it is that, well, if they're having hydration breaks in stadiums where there isn't air conditioning in a roof, we need to have them on every single game for a level playing field. Because what I have noticed is quite often when a hydration break happens, the tempo of the game changes.
Yep.
Sometimes the team that's on top can change, right? This is why we watch teams in the Championship in the Premier League performing what we call the dark arts and feigning injuries at a certain point, and because they want to break up the flow of play, and there's a team that's gathered some momentum, they want to stop that momentum. And I think we're seeing that happen with these hydration breaks. I will say, at least every single game's having them, so it is kind of fair and equal. But then the Americans do American things. Hydration break ads. Oh, fuck off.
It's effectively breaking the game into 4 quarters, isn't it? So they can understand it.
Yeah, fucking ads. And then half-time shows. Go away. It's not the NFL. I don't want half-time shows. But that's a personal whinge, and I don't know if it's echoed by everybody, but I think us people who have watched football for 30 plus years just want to watch fucking football. I want to watch them kick off, play a half, then I'll go and have a beer at half time for 15 minutes, then I want to watch them play another half.
And go home.
That's football. They also don't want to pay $1,000 for the privilege. The average game at St Mary's is about 35 quid. Right, if you're in certain in the cheaper areas of the stadium, you can get more expensive tickets, obviously. But when we buy tickets for friends in the Northern Stand, it's 35 quid to get an adult ticket, right? 35 quid compared to $1,000 is a monumental difference. And I think what FIFA have done, and people are blaming the Americans haven't set the ticket prices, FIFA set the ticket prices. And what FIFA have done is they've gone, yeah, you know what? We're just going to fleece those loyal fans who really want to come to. So it doesn't matter that you've got to, because everybody but Americans have got to pay for flights, hotels. It doesn't matter. You've got to pay thousands. Now people have got to fucking remortgage your house just to go and watch a World Cup game. And I think that's disgusting. Because if you are going to inspire that younger generation, then you should be making tickets to games more accessible.
All you have to do is just take a kid to a game of any sport and they'll get inspired.
Before yesterday, had your nipper ever been to a rugby game?
No.
Did he go to a rugby game yesterday?
Yes.
What's he talked about all day today?
Rugby.
That's how it works. So just get them in the stadium. Get people in the stadium. You don't need to charge $1,000 for, and some of them are more, to get people in stadiums to watch football. Yeah. Especially at the group stages. If it was the World Cup final, maybe then I understand the ticket price. Group stages, though, I don't mind commercialization because I understand. I run 2 businesses. I understand that people have to make money. But I think there comes a point where when you're fleecing your core customer base, you're taking the piss.
What's the problem, though?
People are buying them.
Every stadium is sold out.
That is the problem. And this is the supply and demand issue is the issue that I've explained to people for years. In my other business and the products that we buy, they've got quite expensive over the years. It's a very expensive hobby, right? And I keep saying to people, right, I get that it's an expensive hobby, but year on year, the company is making millions and millions of pounds of a profit, and they're increasing every single year. Anybody in the world, if you really want to prove a point, how did Sheffield Wednesday fans deal with their issue at Sheffield Wednesday?
Stop paying for anything.
They stopped fucking going. They stopped paying for anything. At that point, they went, oh shit. And they got that shit chairman out and they got their club back. The way that people have to vote nowadays, the way that people vote nowadays isn't even at the ballot box now. It's with your fucking wallets. That's how you do it, ultimately. Anyway, little rant about it. I don't mind, like I said, I don't mind commercialization. I don't mind people making money off of things, but there comes a point where it just becomes greed. And I think that World Cup in the US has hit that, unfortunately. Yeah. It's got quite greedy. But
yeah, I agree with that. Yes, Matt, rugby, I like watching a sport that is shaped with a ball that's shaped like your head.
And otherwise, and what's a shame of it is there's been some good games of football played, you've told me.
Look, a lot of the games, there's been some obviously Boros, but a lot of the games have been cracking. I think the refereeing standards have been fairly good. I think that VAR hasn't been the worst thing in the world at the tournament. It's not ruined the tournament so far.
Yeah.
And I think that...
Did you see that Japanese goal that got disallowed?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I saw that, yeah.
that was... If you haven't seen it, yesterday, was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Yesterday, the Japanese got a goal disallowed, and the goal line technology. And I tell you what, even that amount of the ball that wasn't over, that was even smaller than your cock. It was
midgy knackers.
It was honestly, that was unbelievable.
But it's been, I think, so far, it's been a good tournament.
Yeah, I agree.
It's been a good tournament so far. Now it could get ruined, and obviously, a lot of these smaller teams that are picking up their first points aren't going to go any further. But people are talking about dark horses. The South Koreans have been mentioned, the Moroccans have been mentioned, the Japanese have been mentioned, the Americans have obviously been mentioned. So it'll be interesting to see exactly where we get to with all of it. But so far, tournament's been pretty good, and I'll be sat there watching our good old friend Kamaldeen Sulemana for the Ghanaians on Tuesday.
So England do have their second game of the competition on Tuesday against the Ghanaians, and then we're playing the Panama on Saturday.
Yeah, Panama, yeah.
So let's be honest, we could preview the games. We would be expecting as England fans to win both of those quite comfortably.
I would...
Definitely Panama.
Definitely Panama.
Probably still fancy us beating Ghana.
Yeah, we should do.
Yeah. Yeah, and if Camel Toe is anything to judge from his time down
here... He
was
bloody awful in his first game.
Yeah.
Ghana managed to beat Panama in the last minute, but they were awful.
So logically speaking, England should be going through as top of Group L.
They should. Yes.
Should.
Yes.
But never underestimate England to ruin your experience at a tournament. Anyway, World Cup covered. Done. We're going to race through some Saints news.
They want us to talk about the rugby.
No. We're going to race through some Saints news for the next 20 minutes, not the fact that Northampton won the rugby, because they are the Saints as well. So there's a few things to note. First of all, season ticket prices have come out, and in a surprise to probably no one, they've gone up by 5%.
Yes.
Although people are a little bit outraged by it, but I don't see how this is a shock.
I don't think it's a shock, but I think people are still awaiting some sort of goodwill surrounding, obviously, what happened with Spygate, etc., etc. If you follow the right people on Twitter, for example, Alfie and Adam Blackmore and stuff like that, they obviously have... It's well known that the football club has taken a 5% hit on running costs this year because of the same thing everyone else has had, right? Cost of electricity and fuel and all the things to do with the wars that are going on, etc., etc. I think it equates to something like £1.4 million or something cheap like that.
Even more when you start hiring expensive lawyers as well.
Yeah, expensive lawyers and, abusing your interns. So I'm not shocked by it, but I can understand why some people will be a bit pissed. Having said that, our increase is actually fairly minimal compared to some teams.
Yeah, and our season ticket prices are actually, in certain areas of the stadium, reasonably priced, dare I say it, compared to some teams. So it's not a massive surprise to me. I'll be renewing ours in the next week. We'll definitely be going in the same seats.
Yeah, everyone else in our group have renewed, didn't they?
Yeah.
Even little Paddy. You see a little picture I shared of him earlier.
Was that him? I thought it was Ian.
That was Paddy.
There's obviously the retained list as well. There's some interesting stuff going on here. McCarthy released, expected. Smallbone released, expected. Arabo released, certainly expected, especially the wages that he gets off of the bill. Jones released, probably expected. Romeo released after he was bought in halfway through last season. If that doesn't prove that him coming in was a publicity stunt done by Sports Republic to try and save their season, I don't know. Like, that is exactly what that was. He played about 3 minutes across the course of the season, got one of the biggest ovations in the final game of the season despite not doing fuck all, and he's been released. But we love him. We do. We love Oro Romeo, but off he goes. Taylor released, okay. Elias Ulert's loan has finished, okay. I think for me, all of those are pretty much expected.
I think they're expected. Obviously, Jamie Jones and Charlie Taylor didn't really do anything for us. Jamie Jones was just signed as a third choice goalkeeper when Alex McCarthy obviously had to have surgery. Joe Rebo goes with a thanks, mate, but no thanks because he was okay, but not the best.
And he was also a huge wage.
He was a huge wage. Alex McCarthy was also on a fairly huge wage and was never going to get his contract renewed. And obviously, he was here for 10 years. Thank you very much, mate. Will Smallbone, been at the club for 18 years.
Academy player, wasn't he?
Yeah, started when he was 18. He's now 26. He got married this summer, actually, so his wedding present was to get released. He'll pick up a team in the championship area and he'll be a decent footballer. It's injury prone for him. And he is one of those footballers that is very clearly good enough for the championship, but not good enough for the Premier League. So
agree, yeah.
I'm assuming he'll probably be picked up. And then, in fact, actually, in all fairness, I'm going to say this because I've not put it in the notes and we'll probably potentially mention it, but Russell Martin's just taken over at Leicester, so it wouldn't surprise me if he ends up there.
Yeah, because he's played for him before.
And obviously, Ori Romeo, as you have said, clear PR stunt. Alex McCarthy and Romero in the last 48 hours have put messages onto Instagram, obviously doing the usual thank you, I've loved my time here, one to thank, always to thank, all that sort of larky-do. They go with our all of them go with our best wishes. Even people like Jamie Jones were part to do with that end of the run last year.
Not all. Not all of them go with
the
our
ones
best
that we
wishes.
just mentioned.
All the ones we just mentioned go with our best
Elias
wishes.
Shiller obviously going as well. He started off well, but that was to do with the emergence of James Bree, the reason he's gone.
Let's talk about the lot less wanker.
Okay.
So what we also found out on the retain list is that Ross Stewart was released. And the reason why Ross Stewart was released is because they couldn't agree terms on a contract extension. Now, Saints did try and activate a contract extension at the point in which Spygate happened and we got booted out of the playoffs. And I think they believed, because of the nature in which we booted out of the playoffs, that it was still within their time frame for extending the contract. Ross Stewart's lawyers got involved, or he got his lawyers involved, who argued the case and clearly won that wasn't the case. And so Saints couldn't automatically extend his contract by a year. They had no choice. They had to argue about a new contract. They wanted length of time over wages. Ross wanted wages over length of time. That fucking tosspot has been at that club for 3 years, and has spent 2 years, 360 days fucking injured. And Southampton have paid his wages, paid his rehab, kept working with him, got him back to fitness, got him back to health, got him back playing in the Championship last season. And the way in which he thanks the club is by trying to be a fucking greedy prick and then eventually going, I'll go for a free then, see you later. What a wanker. That's how I feel about it anyway.
I've always been a big Ross Stewart fan.
Now you think he's a twat?
No.
You should.
I think there's no loyalty in football anymore anyway.
I agree.
And I think that anything to do, regardless of who the player is, anyone who gets injured, etc., it's all to do under the contract of the club that they'll do anyway. So from what we can understand is it was nothing to do with money, it was to do with the length of the contract. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to offer a 2-year deal. He wanted 3 years, or his team wanted 3 years, because I don't necessarily debate that the players are involved in that as much as they could be. However, I am also of the opinion of, actually, when you look back at it, he scored 12 goals for Southampton in 3 years.
Yeah, not good.
So,
as a return,
considering he's been injured the majority of the first season, majority of the second season, obviously he scored 11 goals. He was our top goal scorer last season, or joint top goal scorer last season. Like I said, he scored 11 goals. We could have just put a fucking aubergine up front. And it would have been better.
So Matty Head, I agree with him. I hope no one takes a risk on him because of his injuries and he ends up at a shit team. I don't normally like. I agree with you. There's no loyalty in football. I get that. And for a player to run their contract down, get released and go on a free, I know how much Liverpool fans hated Trent Alexander-Arnold when he did it. Did him good, didn't he? He's at the World Cup.
Anyone a trophy last year.
Yeah. So so I get that, but ultimately contracts are contracts and players are within their rights to do that. But I think that in Ross's specific circumstances, with the amount of additional time, effort and money the club would have put into him via medical bills and rehab, etc., I feel like we were owed a little bit of loyalty there. And you're right, there isn't any, but I think this is one of those situations where we've done above and beyond. And the way of replaying was going, I want 3 years, I'm leaving. Well, fuck you, dickhead, and I hope you never play in the Championship again.
I also think that when we look at the way our striking lineup is now, so there's rumours, I don't think I put it in the show notes actually, there's rumours that West Brom are potentially eyeing up a money move for Cameron Archer. Obviously, we brought Lauren in, Ross Stewart's gone. I think it's fair to say that it's very unlikely we're going to see Damien Downs next season, so we're going to need to bring in a couple of strikers. Potentially getting rid of Ross Stewart could be a positive thing. He's been linked with some Championship clubs, including Middlesbrough. He is also heavily linked with going to Hearts, because Hearts have just got rid of Lawrence Shankland to Rangers. So,
if we're lucky, what happens is he goes to Middlesbrough, right? We play them first game of the season at Middlesbrough. He starts the game, and within 10 minutes, he pulls up for an injury that's out for 3 years. If we're lucky,
he's probably hoping. Him and his team are probably hoping that the fact that he's at the World Cup is going to have a bit of what's the word? A bit of weight to it. However, it's what we need to do now with this one is people that are annoyed about it, like yourself, just draw a line under it and move on.
So people, of course, and then we move on to other people like James Bree, who was also out of contract. And he did show some loyalty. So obviously he came back off of a loan spell halfway through last season and found himself very quickly first choice for right back. And I was quite impressed by him for that second half of the season. I think he helped solidify the defence. Obviously Peretz made a big difference, as did go into a back four. But I think Breezy made a big difference there. And he signed on a new deal.
Signed a new 3-year deal. Yeah. Obviously he did the usual announcement video where I think the club tweeted and said, you dial the extension that you want. It's obviously the minute it said that, everyone knew exactly what's going to happen, but we all knew it was going to come anyway. I think if you want to pick one between the two, obviously you're going to pick James Bree over Ross Stewart, because
100%.
I think he obviously, James Bree would have been someone that potentially could have had suitors, and I'm actually surprised that we don't know if he did, but he potentially could have had other offers. So if you're looking at teams like Hull, for example, going into the Premier League, you would look at someone like him who'd had the form that he'd done and maybe potentially could have taken part in him. But really good that he's glad he's here next year. I think that if you look at the squad, as we've discussed before, both the right back and left back positions are covered. You've got Bree and Rorslev, and you've got Wellington and Manning. I think that's solid enough going into next season.
Oh, I agree with you as well. Moving into midfield, however, we have had a bid supposedly for Shay Charles from Leeds United.
So I'm going to go to the fan funding bit. Josh has Snapchatted. That's awkward, isn't it? Josh has super chatted that, put it on a postcard, and said that obviously Sky have confirmed that we knew about it before we went live. Well, I knew about it before we went live. I just,
That's in the show notes.
It's in the show notes, but you said we heard me. It's fine. Anyway, I don't expect us to accept that bid.
Because it's not enough?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
I expect us to potentially rise them. I think it would look at with potentially 25 and 30. And there's a bit that I'm not going to go into, but there's been a lot of talk in the last week about, obviously we're Saints fans, right? We love the idea of potentially bringing back players.
I hate it. I hate it.
And there's been a lot of people that have been talking about potentially returns for James Ward-Prowse and Tyler Dibbling on loan for the next season. But
someone was saying, oh, James Ward-Prowse is definitely coming back because he's put his kids in school at Winchester. Yeah, because he fucking lives there. That's why. Morons. But I really hate the fact that every transfer at the moment we end up with this world of speculation about all these ex-players that we might bring back. Fuck them. I liked James Ward-Prowse as a Saints player. I understood why he left. I do, and I didn't hate the fact that he left, and I didn't wish him ill. But he also chose to fuck off because he wanted to further his career. It hasn't really worked for him. So he had a go, he had a punt, off he went. I don't think bringing him back at this point in time actually really offers us much. Maybe a bit of experience, perhaps a set piece taker. A lot of it would depend on who we keep and who we end up selling. So it depends on whether we keep Shay Charles. It depends on whether we keep Caspiander. It depends on whether we keep people like Leo Cienza. It does make a difference.
A lot of business is not going to happen until the World Cup is finished. And the World Cup finishes on the 19th of July.
Exactly that. And then when does the pre-season start? Because you've got here the Saints all travel to Germany to face a third division German side.
Oh, I'm not even going to try and announce, and Cameron's not on the show tonight, so he's not going to do it. It's the only friendly that we've had announced so far. So whoever it is, it's the third division German side.
It's not like Birmingham, is it? Going to Barcelona?
No, Barcelona are going to them.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord, that's worse.
Yeah.
Jesus. Why don't we do that?
So, yeah, maybe they're doing it to keep Caspiander happy. I don't know. But it's interesting that they've announced that. So, obviously, we're going to be doing a pre-season tour of Germany, obviously. But I don't know the exact return date for the players yet. I haven't looked, to be fair, because I've just been busy. But you would imagine that they will go back fairly soon after the World Cup. Obviously, Carl Lamb will get an extension. And obviously, we also have to remember that currently, as part of the Saints squad, who is aware of the World Cup, is also Yuki Sugawara.
Yeah, he is, like you say, currently a Saints player, but will he still be?
So Werder Bremen have decided not to take the option to buy him permanently.
Interesting.
So it's interesting that we'll see where he potentially might end up. I assume it'll be back in the Netherlands or Germany again.
Yeah, okay. And then Saints-ish sort of news, but kind of not really, but sort of, is that yesterday St Mary's hosted a boxing match. Welterweight? No?
It's light welterweight, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Ryan Garner is a Saints person, Saints fan. He comes out to on the Saints. He's got Saints on his shorts, and he managed to via the club get this booked in with wasn't Frank
Warren.
Frank Warren also helped him, but the promoter helped him book it in. And a big shout out to Ryan, who's a Saints fan who won yesterday.
He did win, yeah. Unanimous decision by 3 judges. I didn't watch the fight. I've watched the highlights because obviously I didn't get in until the fight started. Because obviously I was out last night.
Oh yeah,
Well, I didn't go home till late because people don't seem to like me talking about it. I was watching the rugby at Twickenham, and then I did get in. I watched the German game. But yeah, he won. Fair play to him. He's a Saints man through and through. He's promoted fight. He's got his dream, and he now potentially is getting closer and closer to being a world champion. And he's a very, very good boxer. I followed his career from an early stage. He is a very, very good boxer. So
yeah, beautiful. Right, we have had some of you wonderful people that have spent some money. We've got no new members, Ash. So I don't know.
Clearly, they think we're fucking
I don't
shit.
know what you've done this time over last time as to why they think this is such a terrible show. But there's no gifted memberships. Thank you, Josh, for that first one. I'm not reading out. Galactic Gaz, thank you for the $3. He says Ash is the legend.
Woo! It's because of my shirt. Gaz, is it because of my shirt? Admit it's because of the shirt.
Thank you, Joshy Boy, for $2. Lead send offer for Shade Child Sky confirmed. We've covered that. Thank you, mate. Moss said, thank you for the 5. We Jock Poo Pong McPlop can do one. Another $5 if either of you get the reference. We Jock Poo Pong McPlop. I don't get the reference.
I recognise it, but I don't know where I recognise it from.
And Mark, thank you for the $2. He said, forgot to say in the postcard, when is the FA going to make a decision?
How long's a piece of fucking string, mate?
I don't know. Are you worried about that decision?
Yes. So
because it's kind of all gone quiet on that front, hasn't it?
So it has. So interesting. You mentioned the boxing earlier, actually, and one of the reasons that it was mentioned is that obviously George Rees-Julian, who obviously is about to Blackadder, that was it.
That gives me something else to talk about. Carry on.
George Rees-Julian, who was obviously at the Echo and is now going freelance, was there last night, and before he came out, there was a very, very loud rendition from the 12,000 Southampton fans, or so Southampton fans, that were there last night, of We've Got Eckert. So clearly there's a bit of backing for him. And as I said before, when we were doing the shows about Spygate and stuff, I thought someone was going to do something stupid like kick us out of the playoffs. I think they're going to do something stupid.
I'm hoping they don't, but hey, we'll see what happens.
I think they'll do something stupid.
Thank you, Mossa, for the $2. He says, Blackadder, they won't sack him unless he gets a ban that is significant. So I think if he gets a 6-month ban, I don't think he leaves the club. I think they keep him in behind the scenes and put him back in post. I do, because of the way that Dragon spoke about it when he finally broke silence and came out and talked.
It's something we never talked about this, right? But we took the piss out of Southampton when we appointed Ben Garner as the assistant manager, because he came in and we lost against Middlesbrough and then we lost to Hull. I do wonder how much of an impact he has had behind the scenes. So there is what I'm reading. I'm going for that, as you mentioned, is there is a potential scenario where he gets a ban for 10, 12, 14 games and the club go, well, that's fine. He can do the training at the training grounds. He can set the team up. And Ben Garner can run the team. And I know that's necessarily there. Potentially, the club are going to be targeting promotion next season. We're on -4 points. But I think it's going to be a very, very tight championship next year. I think it's going to be a very tight championship next year. I cannot believe that Alison just said she'd never watched Blackadder. So go and watch it.
At the same time, one of the pieces of Saints news that you haven't written down here is that Saints have launched applications for the fan advisory board.
Oh, yes. I had forgotten that. Yes.
I haven't forgotten that because I have applied.
Have you?
Yeah.
I mean, after our show tonight, you're definitely not getting on it.
Got a podcast, big deal, innit? Send.
Clearly not, because we've got no fucking members.
So that's why I wrote. That's why I said.
I haven't applied because
I wrote. I don't know if you know. Like they said, name. I don't know if you know who I am. Send.
Name. You know who I am. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just do it from this. Just do it from.
What's your name? Don't pretend you don't watch. Go. So I have actually applied for the fan advisory board because I feel like with this audience feeding us in and Discord and what have you, actually we are two people who probably.
Is it hard to apply for? Should I apply for it?
It's not that difficult. It's a load of check boxes and putting your support number as well as a few text boxes about selling yourself. I'm really fucking good at selling myself.
I'm not good at selling myself.
So we'll see.
I do a podcast next to a bloke who's really racist. Done. Anyway, move on.
Right. You lot have been amazing. Thank you for hanging out tonight. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show. This is going to be kind of sort of the format, I think, going forward during the World Cup at least. We'll cover off
4 weeks.
England's progress. Are we going to carry on with the World Cup even if England get knocked out? I assume at that point will be...
Well, we have a decision to make. So obviously, firstly, in staying on with Saints news, the fixtures are released on Thursday.
Yep.
So we will discuss them next week. Maybe don't send them this episode as your application. Definitely not. That's the thing. They're going to look at the podcast. They're going to be like, I'm going to go watch the latest episode.
And I put in my application that I am brutally honest.
And you'd say if England get knocked out, let's be honest, when England get knocked out, we have a decision to make because the World Cup final is on Sunday the 19th of July at 8 p.m.
Oh, we're not doing a show then.
Could do a watch-along.
We could do a watch-along. I'd be okay with that.
Chat, do you want us to do a watch-along for the World Cup final?
We can't have the actual football on, though. We'd have to just sit here looking at it.
That's what people do.
Yeah, I know. Well, if you want us to do it, we'll do it. If you're going
to... I'll put a Discord. I'll put a poll in Discord as well. For those of you who are new here tonight, if you look at the video description below, you can get into Discord. It's got 130 odd people on it. It's just people talk shit about football. It's fun.
Right.
And we all say it's coming home because Liam loves to
phrase. We don't say that. We don't say that.
Loves to phrase.
I tell you what, if England are in the final and they win it, I'll say it.
Fuck.
Because at that point, it's actually genuinely fucking true, isn't it?
Jesus. There you go. We've got a yes already for a watch-along of the World Cup final.
Cool.
A second one for a watch-along.
We will be back next Sunday. We are planning to do next Sunday, aren't we?
Hey?
We are planning to do next Sunday as well?
Yeah.
Okay. We will be back next Sunday after 2 England games, obviously this week, and hopefully finishing the top of the group with nothing but wins. A long time since England have done that in the group stages. And we will be talking about England's progress and the next opponents and other things that have happened in the World Cup up until that point. Obviously, much like tonight, we will save the last 15-20 minutes for Saints-based news if there is anything to talk about. It might not be so much. But yeah, that's something that you guys can look forward to as well next Saturday.
We at least know we're going to be talking about the fixtures.
100% we'll be talking about Saints fixtures. That's something you guys can look forward to next Saturday at 8 p.m. A big shout out and a big thank you to everybody who sat and watched this show tonight in the off-season period. Well, off-season for the Championship at least. Thank you to those of you who have super chatted and already smashed that like button. You're amazing. If you are a grey name, even after the show, think about becoming a member. It doesn't just leave it recurring membership. It's great for us. It's amazing. You forget you're paying it. We get a little bit of cash. You're supporting a podcast for people that do what they love. And one day, maybe Ash can take some money from this. I mean, you're probably getting your season ticket out of it, so, you can't complain too hard, right?
I don't complain, do I?
You fucking complain all the time.
Fuck off.
Nothing but whinging.
You're such a wanker.
Nothing but
honestly.
whinging all the time, honestly. It's mostly because he's feeling old. Right. I think that's everything. Is that everything?
Yeah, it is now. Yeah, great, brilliant. Yeah.
I think I have to watch the England game Wednesday morning because I'm working Tuesday night, which is a shame.
Are you working Tuesday night?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be watching it live.
That's okay.
I'll be in the Discord like I was last week as well.
Beautiful.
You can pop in maybe once next week if you do you one time.
You lot are amazing. If you have enjoyed the show, please make sure you smash that like button on your way out of the door. Ash, anything you want to say before we go?
Up the Saints.
Up the Saints. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.